This program lineup is brought to you by Vision Express.
KUAM TV8, first on Guam. KUAM News headlines are presented by Calvo's Insurance, protecting Micronesia for 85 years. Matson and the Adahi Itano program. Apply at matson.com. Cars Plus, Guam's automotive leader in sustainability and electric vehicles. Learn more at carsplusguam.com. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it. And King's Restaurant, serving your local breakfast, lunch, and dinner favorites for over 45 years.
Ahead on KUAM News Primetime, a murder suspect is captured 10 days after authorities find the body of a man behind a Manila home. The alleged killer now set to appear before a Superior Court judge.
Plus, what more can be done to protect revelers from getting hurt once Guam's fireworks law finally blasts off? I'm Julian Hernandez with the reaction from the bill's author.
It's still a bumpy ride into 2024 on Beach Road. I'm Tomas Manglona on Saipan with a full report on the progress drivers can expect this new year.
Hafa and good evening. Welcome to KUAM News Primetime. I'm Nick Delgado. Thank you so much for making us a part of your day. Well, topping our news tonight, an alcohol-fueled fight led to one man being dead and his cousin now facing murder charges. Guam police arresting a man after a body of another was found behind a Manila home just a couple of days before Christmas. It took 10 days before authorities captured their suspect. Mitsuki Hirayama has tonight's top story.
A murder motivated by alleged threats and a drunken night between cousins.
We believe that this was just an alcohol-fueled incident between the victim and the suspect, in which an argument ensued and led to the stabbing.
42-year-old Isaac Gertamog is charged with murder along with a special allegation of possession or use of a deadly weapon in the commission of a felony. The case unfolding after the body of Mike Thien was found behind his Manilao home along Route 15. An elderly couple making the gruesome discovery on the morning of December 23rd. Guam Police Chief Stephen Ignacio confirms Thien and Gertamog are cousins. Gertamog had picked him up from East Agana Park that Friday.
At which time the victim was heavily intoxicated. He brought the victim to a residence in Manilao to drop off and pick up some items. When then they finally returned to the suspect's residence.
Investigators learning the victim was drinking heavily that day before he began drinking alcohol at Gertamag's home. The home is just steps away from the crime scene.
Not too far from where the body was found.
Authorities learned the two got into an argument. Gertamag allegedly telling police his cousin threatened to shoot him, adding he got a knife to defend himself.
In which the suspect is believed to have stabbed the victim. The victim was nowhere to be found by the suspect, and he continued on until later on when the suspect was able to determine that the victim had succumbed to a stab wound.
Thien left his cousin's home. Court documents state Gertamag drove after him but had no luck finding Thien. Thien's body was also found unclothed.
We have, I believe, surveillance footage showing that at some point he was not wearing a shirt, and then at some point he had also taken off his pants. Again, this victim was highly intoxicated at the time.
Investigators confiscated several knives from Gertamag's home. One of the knives, the chief says, is believed to be the murder weapon, but it took 10 days before police made the arrest, and at no point did authorities alert the community of a suspect at large.
In our initial response to the scene, there was no indication of any foul play. It wasn't until after the body was moved to be ready for transport in which a stab wound was noted. So at that point, we didn't activate the criminal investigation section.
Thien's death has been ruled a homicide. An autopsy confirmed he was stabbed in the abdomen. Mitsuki Hirayama, KUAM News.
And Gertamag appeared before a court judge this afternoon in Superior Court. He's being held on $100,000 cash bail. Prosecutors say he faces life in prison if convicted. Clear procedures are in place whenever Guam police respond to a call. It may include the officers taking evidence into custody and following a report. But what if that doesn't happen? Such is the case for a longtime cop who now finds himself once again under the microscope for allegedly not doing his job. A Guam police officer once again under investigation.
Could this officer be facing potential charge of destruction of evidence?
That's something that I have to discuss with the General Moylan and his prosecution team, whether or not they feel that this incident rises to the level of a criminal investigation or a criminal case.
KUAM is not releasing the officer's name for now, but safe to say he's no stranger to being placed under the microscope. The incident unfolding last November when the officer with Tumon Precinct Command responded to Tumon Sands Plaza after a suspicious item was found.
And an officer who allegedly found a meth pipe and a baggie of meth, but rather than confiscating that item, tossed it into the jungle. And events kind of played out from there before eventually that evidence was recovered and this officer was investigated. Are you aware of this incident?
Yes, I am aware of that incident, and that case is actively being investigated. I do know that we have conducted analysis of the alleged contraband that was thrown, and there's no evidence that the items that were thrown were controlled substance. It was not a meth pipe, and it was not ice or methamphetamine that was confiscated and thrown away.
What was it?
I'm still waiting for the lab results, but we know for sure that it's not ice.
Police Chief Stephen Ignacio still waiting for more test results and the outcome of an internal affairs investigation into why the cop did not bag and tag the evidence.
There appears to be some procedural issues that were not followed, and so that case is actually still actively being investigated.
Okay. So never field tested for presumptive positive, as in
right. It wasn't field tested, but we did do a confirmatory test with our lab, and it is not contraband. It is not illegal substance.
The chief says generally the narcotics identification kits are used on scene to verify the substances found. The field tests detect the presence of drugs.
In this case, the officers weren't able to do a field test. So, we're supposed to confiscate the items and turn it in for analysis.
But sources confirm with KUAM that a field test was performed and the results did come back presumptive positive. Now, the officer is being investigated, accused of not doing his duty to protect and serve. It's similar procedures that also brought this same officer into the spotlight after his response to a drunken driving crash at Jerry Kitchen in Tamuning in 2021. Then, the officer was investigated for not conducting a field sobriety test after only issuing a ticket to the driver.
This officer, he's been investigated multiple times over his career. Is this officer still on duty?
Yeah, the officers are still on duty. Had I believe they needed to be placed on leave, I would have done so while the investigation is ongoing. But based on what I do know at this point, the case is still being actively investigated, and we are looking into it.
What did you tell the officer when you found out he discarded potential evidence?
I'm sorry, can I discuss what I discussed with the officers?
But you were able to speak with him about it, right?
Yes.
And I'm sure the policies say you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah, and those are the realizations that we have to deal with.
KUAM has learned the officer was handed proposed adverse action, but details have not yet been made public. The case, only one of a handful more recent internal affairs investigations, the force is trying to balance with keeping the island safe. Now to a follow-up on the 8 injured on New Year's Day following an accident involving fireworks and explosives. Those injured have since been treated and released from the hospital. The incident now drawing up public discussion and some pushback over the newly passed fireworks law. KUAM's Julian Hernandez has the story.
Senator Dwayne San Nicolas's intentions for his consumer-grade fireworks bill, now law, was so that the island community can once again be able to enjoy putting on a magical spectacle right from the comfort of their own homes.
I knew how we celebrate. We celebrate quite dangerously. People are going to celebrate whether we like it or not. And one of those very, very festive times of the year is New Year's. And around the world, everybody loves to use fireworks. And this bill was a way to get them to celebrate safely and legally.
Despite it being passed, the law still requires more work before the public can expect to buy it in stores.
And so we've been working closely with the governor and her staff to make sure that we try to improve the legislation. The public needs to remain patient, and I hope that they understand that this bill is well intentioned. You know, as a child growing up here, I see good people shooting up firearms, which is just totally wrong. And if we have this and it's done properly, you know, a lot of people will participate and be able to celebrate safely.
But the law, not yet fully rolled out, still had many excited to get their hands on fireworks. As we reported on New Year's Day, 8 people were injured by improvised fireworks and explosives in Jigo. They were sent to area hospitals. 4 of the 8 were children, the youngest being 6 years old.
I know that you wanted it to be safe and easy, but of course 8 people did get injured
Yes.
like that. So what is your response to that in terms
Well,
of these people got injured?
Well, that was the use of you know, backyard fireworks. You know, these things are not regulated. They're not properly made. There were times when I could just go down to Acme with the guidance of my father, and we'd purchase consumer grade fireworks, which, you know, come with they come with instructions, they come with warnings, and so you read these and then you properly apply them. And I never got hurt using consumer grade fireworks, right? And thank goodness I didn't get hurt playing with improvised backyard fireworks. But
Senator St. Nicholas is working on adding more safety to the rules and regulations. But Republican colleague Senator Tello Taitigui, who openly opposed the fireworks law, says she warned that injuries like the one that occurred in Jigo could occur.
It's not a told you so scenario. It was bound to happen. You know, it's a situation now, they have the blood on their hands. You know, the fireworks accidents that occurred over the weekend, and it's really not surprising.
Senator Taitigui says that safety should have been prioritized.
And because we refused to, you know, review this law and provide the safety mechanisms in it, you know, of course, now we have data and statistics on firework injuries, you know, and those senators who voted yes on this fireworks bill, people of Guam need to look at these individuals and really find out, are they really for the best interest of the people of Guam, the safety and welfare of our people?
Meantime, St. Nicholas and his Director of Communications, Isaiah Uggan, says they are waiting on the Guam Fire Department to draft up the rules and regulations for the new fireworks bill so that they can move forward on adding it to the existing law.
We have drafted a bill, and the governor's office is also working with us on this bill. The only thing that is pending right now is the rules and regulations from the Guam Fire Department.
Right.
So it's not us.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
So it's drafted, and we hope to get it out soon.
Yeah. So when was it drafted, if you don't mind me?
We started drafting it the moment the governor signed it into law, which was in November.
St. Nicholas adding regulations do exist in the law, which include banning children from using consumer-grade fireworks without adult supervision. Julian Hernandez, KUAM News.
Thanks, Julianne. Well, more than 100 grams of meth is intercepted in the mail. And get this, the feds finding it in a package that was meant to contain food. The warrant was executed last January, but the case was just unsealed in the District Court of Guam today. The drugs were found inside an acai bowl mix package. It contained a total of 122 grams of methamphetamine. Court documents state the drugs were mailed from an address in Corona, California, to a home in Dededo. It tested presumptive positive for meth. That's when the feds replaced the drugs with sham and a tracker and carried out their investigation. To date, no charges have been filed in connection to the case. One of the teens indicted in a riot at a local high school denied the allegations filed against him in local court. Defendant Sapuro Timothy pleaded not guilty before Magistrate Judge Benjamin Sison in Superior Court today. Timothy, along with co-defendant Mikeson Lipwe, are each charged with 2 counts of riot, assault, and disorderly conduct. Lipwe is scheduled to answer to the charges in the indictment handed down against him on January 10th. As KUAM reported, the pair were involved in an alleged riot that unfolded at Teton High School last November. It involved at least 15 to 20 students. Court documents state Lipwe and Timothy allegedly resorted to violence in defense of their friend, who was accused by another student of stealing a vape. Despite being warned by school staff, the pair allegedly continued punching students involved in the brawl and bystanders. Again, they're set to appear back in court next week. A federal judge finding the Office of Public Accountability Public Auditor B.J. Cruz improperly dismissed JMI Edison's appeal in relation to an airport contract. The Supreme Court of Guam finding the OPA did not afford JMI their due process. The company had filed an appeal against the Guam International Airport Authority's decision to award competing company Menzies as the highest bidder for its baggage handling system. JMI argued Menzies did not have a contractor's license, but as KUAM reported, the OPA dismissed the appeal for fraud after an email surfaced from JMI to the contractor's licensing board executive director where the word bro was used. Now, with the court's order, OPA must reevaluate their findings. Deficiencies in the Guam Memorial Hospital's procurement process were found in a report released by the Guam Office of Public Accountability today. The public auditor releasing the results of GMH's revenue cycle management, the report highlighting an unreasonable basis for the RCM contractor compensation, leading to question costs of $4.9 million. The report also pointing out ineffective contract performance, stating the RCM consultant was supposed to address continuing cash flow issues, but did not provide immediate relief for the hospital's financial condition. Guam OPA recommends the GMH administrator and CEO revise its procurement planning and pre-evaluation processes and utilize a consultancy contract which pays a fixed amount to the award contract instead of a variable percentage. You can view the full report on opaguam.org. The 37th Guam Legislature prepares for the first session of 2024, the Rules Committee meeting next week to go over the more than 20 bills for possible placement on the session agenda. Nestor Lecanto with more.
The nearly 24 bills on the rules agenda for the upcoming meeting run the full gamut of issues. Chairman Chris Barnett says Mawar pushed back progress on a lot of legislation, and so there's a lot of catching up to do.
And so I'm excited to get this rules meeting underway. I know we do have everything on the agenda, but, one thing about these rules meetings is, unfortunately or fortunately, depending on which side you're on, tend to be some surprises sometimes. So, yeah, I'm just looking for a good, smooth meeting, and I'm looking for us to create a good agenda for our first session of the year. A lot of work to get done this year.
With his rookie year now under his belt, Barnett, as he said, is expecting a much smoother process ahead, both for the Rules Committee and his own legislative priorities.
I'm excited to get this rules meeting underway. I know we do have everything on the agenda, but, one thing about these rules meetings is, unfortunately or fortunately, depending on which side you're on, tend to be some surprises sometimes. So, yeah, I'm just looking for a good, smooth meeting, and I'm looking for us to create a good agenda for our first session of the year. A lot of work to get done this year.
Yeah, it was a little surprising that there were so many bills on the agenda. Is it you guys just kind of steamroll through all of those, or you imagine some will fall by the wayside?
Yeah, I think some are going to fall by the wayside. We had a little bit of the typhoon. It kind of threw back a lot of the schedules. So I know that when we went into the rules meeting at the end of the year, a lot of the bills just weren't ready to be added on the session agenda. So I think that's why we've got a lot of stuff popping up for this one.
Yeah. You mentioned, your first rules meeting a year ago was a kind of a rough and tumble as a newbie to this legislature. As you look back on the past year of 2023, what kind of stands out and what did you learn, and what are you looking forward to in 24?
I think looking back over my first year in office, I think for me, one thing I had to do, it was really do or die in the beginning. I had to adjust. It's a very steep learning curve. I know being on that side of it, right, it's one thing, and watching the way session is and watching the legislature, watching the issues, it's a whole lot different being on the other side. So coming in here, I think the quickest lesson I learned is that you can't get anything done by yourself, and you're going to need the support of your colleagues to move, measures through. And for me, I ran a campaign as a maverick, and I'm very fortunate that I was able to push through what I believe are good bills that became public laws. this year, but I was able to do it with the support of my colleagues.
Barnett was 6 for 8 last year in bills brought to the floor and passed into law. Most had to do with education, which he has oversight of.
Yeah, the first year of my term has really been setting that standard and then making sure that I'm applying enough pressure as the oversight chair, keeping tabs on DOE, doing the monthly oversight hearings, and really, in a lot of ways, having to babysit the department, fight all the challenges and the pushback. One thing I can confidently and proudly say is that today, more than any other time in the history of Guam, the conversation about clean, safe schools is really at the forefront.
And the biggest issue going forward, Barnett says it will still be the big debate over where to build the hospital of the future.
The more I think about it, and the more I kind of observe the comments that the governor has made in the media, the more confident I am in saying that I think that the best fit for the future of Guam's healthcare is building at Ipoh Point and Tamuning.
The rules meeting is scheduled for next Thursday, and session will be set at the call of the speaker. Nestor Lecanto, KUAM News.
Thanks, Ness. Now to heartbreaking news many of us learned just this morning. Sinajania Vice Mayor Rudy Iriarte passed away this morning after a long battle with diabetes. Iriarte served 3 consecutive terms since 2012, making a positive impact on the village of Sinajania the past 11 years. He also served as its municipal clerk in 2005 for 8 years. The governor, lieutenant governor, Guam's delegate, the legislative speaker, and the mayor's council of Guam sending their heartfelt condolences to the Iriarte family as they remember him as a leader who dedicated his life to public service. He left a mark on not just the central village, but the entire island. Iriarte created and sustained programs to include the popular summer and Christmas camps, the senior citizen special events, community education and training programs, and so much more. Funeral and rosary services are being planned. Iriarte was 49 years old. We'll be right back.
Peacock is streaming your NBC local station now.
A tip, sending police.
Get your local news and weather.
Wow, definitely one of a kind.
At home or on the go.
Mitigation process.
Plus, your favorite NBC shows. From morning till night, live.
Welcome to Today. So good to have you with us.
You make a great team, huh?
And so much more.
Welcome aboard.
That was awesome.
All in one place. Streaming now on Peacock.
In 2022, the all-electric Hyundai Ioniq 5 won the award for World Car of the Year. So, of course, the all-electric Hyundai Ioniq 6 just had to go out and win World Car of the Year for 2023. Because everyone knows how competitive sibling rivalries can be. World Car of the Year, 2 years in a row.
Don't need a work break, keep the smile on your face. The moments you can't replace, and I'll be around. Whoa, you can count on me. You can count on me for life.
Wherever life takes you, we're always here for you. Calvo's Insurance. Count on us for life.
Zoom! 'Tis the season for speed, and Docomo Pacific is putting prepaid customers in the fast lane. Starting November 3rd, 2023 to January 31st, 2024, every $5 prepaid card purchase from a participating store gives Docomo Pacific customers a chance to win a brand new Mazda 3. So load up at participating stores and drop off your entry to any Docomo Pacific retail store. Docomo Pacific, better together. Some conditions apply. Visit DocomoPacific.com for details.
Mickey D's McCrispy. Formerly known as the Crispy Chicken Sandwich, now has some respect on his name. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Real talk. The Spicy Crispy Chicken Sandwich should have been named Spicy McCrispy from Jump. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
What you need to know from the Northern Marianas. Follow KUAM CNMI on Instagram for the latest regional headlines.
Welcome back to Primetime. The CNMI's iconic beach road set to be completely rebuilt by Liberation Day this year. Its progress also raises questions about the iconic flame trees that are no longer on the roadside. Regional correspondent Tomas Manglotnia has the latest developments from the Department of Public Works.
It's a bumpy ride into 2024 on Saipan's Beach Road, but Department of Public Works Secretary Ray Yumol says it's all expected to be over mid-year.
Overall, we see the road project moving. Our target now is to make sure that we try to complete all phases before the coming July 4th festivities.
The 6-mile stretch is undergoing a nearly $30 million facelift funded by the U.S. Department of Transportation, American Rescue Plan, and Department of the Interior. The construction has faced its own speed bumps.
So far, the Beach Road project is moving along, albeit at a little bit of a slow pace due to some factors such as the weather and also our loss of an archaeologist that is required because for phase 2 that in particular, we are digging along the roadway in areas that have never been disturbed in the past. So there's a high potential for those areas to have some kind of relic and an artifact from prior years.
They've since hired an archaeologist to help move the project along.
Most of the challenges that we have is the drainage excavation along the road. That's where our archaeologist is monitoring, because we are digging about 4 to 5 feet down from the existing surface. So after that, they will be working on the main road, and that's easy because that's only 2 feet down from the existing surface.
The project has also raised concerns from residents about the removal of many of Saipan's iconic flame trees on the roadside. Yumol says there's a plan to replace them.
Unfortunately, these trees were encroaching in the project of the rebuilding of the roadway, and it is disheartening even for us that we have to have the trees cut down. But we are working with the Department of Lands and Natural Resources, in particular the folks over at the Agricultural Office, to see if we can do tree planting activities after the project's completion, so that we can regrow and replace these lost trees. So we do have that in the tail end of this project, that we will come back and replant, so that in a few years the trees will be back, and it will of course bring the flora and fauna, the beautiful nature of our scenic beach road drive to once again be populated with these iconic trees.
Tomas Manglotnia, KUAM News, Saipan.
Thanks, Tomas. Also in the CNMI, the Department of Public Works says all 3 tower cranes at the casino site in Garapan completely dismantled. The cranes at the now out of operation and unfinished Imperial Pacific International Resort and Casino were cause for safety concerns for many residents. DPW Secretary Ray Yumol says there is now no danger to the community after the contractor Ocean B met the December 31st deadline to remove the cranes. Yumol says there were no injuries reported as a result of the deconstruction.
The cranes itself have been sitting idle for quite a few number of years, and the rust and the corrosion was so severe that the methods that they had to utilize, unfortunately, they had to cut all the pieces and that they could not remove the pins that connects all the pieces together. So the equipment is not usable anymore. So they will all be scrapped. And based on my communication with Ocean B, IPI will be contracting for a vessel or a company to take all the metal scraps to be recycled out of the basically it'll be removed out of the Sinamay, brought back to China and recycled.
Meantime, Yamul says the last safety inspection for the building was about 3 months ago. He says they did not find any significant issues, but if they receive concerns from IPI or the community, they will send inspectors to investigate and take action. Back here on Guam, it's a sinister and insidious way to get local children addicted to nicotine. So says Senator Tom Fisher, whose bill to ban flavored vape products on Guam will undergo a public hearing tomorrow. Nestor Lecanto has more.
Senator Fisher is pushing the legislation because Guam, he says, has a very serious problem.
We have the highest per capita use of vape among children in the world, not just in Micronesia, not just in Australasia, in the world. No one beats Guam for the use of vape. So it's the saddest possible statistic.
He adds that despite the protestations of those who sell e-cigarettes that their products are strictly meant for adults, Fisher says they've clearly been making their way to children.
The vape industry will say, oh, we're not marketing it to children. There's no marketing, there's no newspaper, no TV, etc., and so forth. But the truth of the matter is the product is marketing itself. You know, you'll have you buy a vape device, it'll have dancing bears on it, and it's going to be in fuchsia or bright green or something like that. Colors, and the entire product is designed to lure and addict children because the industry is trying to insulate itself from the collapse of the combustible market. They need to develop a new market.
The harmful health effects of nicotine, cancer, lung disease are well documented, he says, and that's what children need to be protected from.
Do children understand that the reason they keep reaching for the vape is not necessarily because they like the flavor of strawberry? It's because they've become addicted to nicotine. That's why they keep reaching for the vape. And there's no other explanation for it.
And so the bottom line for Senator Fisher?
We're going to do everything we possibly can to stop selling poison to children. And that's what this bill's about.
The hearing is set for Thursday afternoon. Nestor Lecanto, KUAM News.
Thanks, Ness. Well, over in Japan, 5 crew members aboard a Japanese Coast Guard plane on an earthquake relief mission were killed after their aircraft collided with a passenger plane carrying nearly 400 people. As CBS News correspondent Christiane Benavides reports, the tragedy could have been far worse.
The Japanese Coast Guard plane was preparing to take off to deliver aid to earthquake victims when it collided with a large passenger plane. All 379 aboard the Japan Airlines passenger flight got out safely before the airliner went up in flames on the runway of Tokyo's airport. But 5 of the 6 crew members aboard the Coast Guard plane died.
My perception from the limited information available so far is that the fire began at the moment of the collision between the 2 aircraft and, caused by the forces involved, probably the release of fuel involved at the time.
After Monday's 7.6 magnitude earthquake, rescuers are fighting mudslides, ripped apart roads, and strong aftershocks in hopes of saving anyone who may still be alive. On Tuesday, residents took shelter in an evacuation center. The widespread damage included thousands of buildings, some of which collapsed. While aftershocks continued to spread fear, Japan's nuclear authority said its reactors are all fine after tsunami warnings were called off. Christian Benavides, CBS News.
The earthquake death toll stands at least 55, and close to 60,000 people have been forced out of their homes and are being looked after in temporary shelters. Finally, one lucky winner is beginning the new year $842 million richer. Maggie Vespa is in the small city where the big Powerball ticket was sold.
For millions of Americans, the kickoff to 2024 called for the classics. But in this small Michigan city,
You just want 2 tickets for Powerball?
it's safe to say one lucky person managed to top the ball drop millions of times over. Someone bought a ticket here that's now worth more than $800 million.
I know, isn't that insane?
$842.4 million to be exact, or a lump sum of $425.2 million for the still anonymous Powerball player who picked these 6 lucky numbers drawn Monday night.
I was talking to my priest and he said, "Did you win that?" And I said, "No." He said, "Oh man, we were looking for a big contribution."
Your priest hit you up.
Yeah.
The jaw-dropping jackpot, Powerball's 5th largest ever, and in the contest's more than 30-year history, its first drawn on New Year's Day.
The mystery winner made that life-changing purchase at this family-owned food castle in Grand Blanc, Michigan. This is like an hour north of Detroit.
It's the best feeling because it's like the community deserves it. Good way to start off the year, you know, for a big win.
Now the question, will the lucky winner come forward to ring in the new year rich? Maggie Vespa, NBC News, Grand Blanc, Michigan.
Quite the lucky winner there. In 2023, 21 children were welcomed into their forever home and 2 children were reunified with their families. Jonah Gonchafers has more on some of the numbers coming out of the Harvest House and how they hope to increase those numbers in the new year.
About 100 foster kids walk through the doors of Harvest House every single month. Bethany Taylor is the executive director of Harvest House.
There's 675 foster children on Guam today. That's huge. I mean, I told you 14 years ago when we began, there was 80 kids in the system, and now we're at 675. We doubled after the pandemic. We grew 180 foster kids, I think, in 2022. This year, we've grown about 100 new foster children this year.
The numbers are staggering. Taylor says as more foster kids come in, more support is needed, more physical needs there are, and the more foster families are needed to care for these kids.
And obviously, that is our number one goal. Is we don't want any child left in a shelter. As shelters are great, we need them because they need a safe place to go right away, but we're always fighting for foster kids to end up in a family so they can experience what family's supposed to look like.
In 2023, Harvest House serviced with 21 foster kids from the first day of crisis till they were adopted by their foster family. They serviced 2 foster kids from the first day of crisis till they were reunified with their biological family. And they were also able to assist with about 73 new foster children in 2023 through their Emergency Triage Center. The Emergency Triage Center is the first day the children come into foster care.
I think many of them have no idea what family is really supposed to look like. And then hopefully they'll get this sense of what family is, and they'll be able to go back to biological family and see, okay, Mom, this is, okay, Dad, I'm rooting for you. This is what family's supposed to do. We're all supposed to be in it together and help each other.
She hopes the gift continues and hope they can have more foster families who can take in these incredible foster children.
Anybody can do it. Whether you're really high up there and you're working like, 24/7, you're working a lot and you just don't think you have the time, you can do it. There's resources out there that can do it. If you're a single person, you can do it. If you're a married family and you have an extra room or an extra seat at the table, just think of the impact that you can make on a child's life who, if you say no, what's their alternative? If you think about it that way, you think about the hardships that you're going to have to encounter for taking in a child, it's going to be a lot. You're going to be living a life that is not comfortable, believe me. It's not been the most comfortable life the 14 years I've been fostering, but it's been so rewarding. So change an uncomfortable life for a life of reward.
And if you aren't able to be a foster parent, you can still create impact for the foster child.
And so I think that's just the beauty of being on this island, is we are island family. And so all of these individuals and businesses have said, yeah, I'm in. Your mission is so impactful and changing foster kids' lives. I'm in. I want to support that. And I may not be able to foster a child myself, but I want to be part of this family of giving and seeing that they are valuable, and I want to give them that. It's really special.
Make 2024 the year you become a foster parent or family. To learn more, you can visit harvesthouseguam.org, or you can follow them on Instagram at harvesthouseguam. Jonathan Charfris, KUAM News.
Hafa day, everybody. I'm Jason Salas, and you know what we do here on the show is we like to celebrate members of our community for doing amazing things. I have one such member right here from Central Guam. This is Brandon Meston, and he is currently halfway through, freshman year of college is technically what it is, but Brandon is attending the U.S. Coast Guard Academy in Connecticut.
Yes.
You're a college student, but that's not exactly the typical collegiate experience.
Yeah,
and everything. So first of all, welcome to, and you know what? Thank you for your service. We tell everybody who has ever served that you are in training to be a military officer, and we thank you for making that choice.
Thank you for your support, and knowing that the island of Guam is behind me, it definitely makes it a lot easier.
Now, you're an FD grad. You were an NJROTC.
Yes.
Over FD. So how do you feel that prepared you for, the next step, which is now, training to be a military officer?
I would say that NJROTC definitely helped me build the military mannerisms and the core values of what it means to be in the military and as an officer. In the Navy, it's honor, courage, and commitment. In the Coast Guard, it's honor, respect, and devotion to duty. But it all surrounds one thing, and it's that as an officer, you're supposed to lead and be an honorable and integrable person. And I would say that JROTC definitely helps you with that portion of it.
Outstanding, as you just said. Okay, now with your pedigree, I mean, you're an outstanding student in the classroom. You're a very, very accomplished paddler. For FD. I mean, you've done it all, right? You could have basically gone to any college in the country, right? West Coast, East Coast, middle of the country, what have you. What made you choose the U.S. Coast Guard Academy?
Oh, man, that's a hard one. When I started high school, I initially wasn't in JROTC, but my dad convinced me to join the program and try it out because he was also in JROTC. So I tried it out and instantly fell in love with the military and the opportunities that the military gives out. And because I was in the Navy JROTC, I was all about Naval Academy. And my goal was to become a Marine, maybe a Marine pilot at the Naval Academy. And it wasn't until junior year when I found out about the Coast Guard Academy, found out that the mission completely different than all the other branches. It's focused on humanitarian. It's focused on a humanitarian aspect of serving. And then when I found out that the Coast Guard saves lives, stops drugs from entering the country, I instantly knew that Coast Guard was going to be my #1 choice.
Okay, now you were accepted, and this is amazing, ladies and gentlemen. You were accepted to both Annapolis, the U.S. Naval Academy, and the U.S. Coast Guard Academy. Obviously, as a high school student, there's a ton of peer pressure. You're thinking about can I beat my team's paddling? You're thinking about your SAT score and everything.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I can't even imagine what you went through, Brandon, deciding between which service academy you wanted to attend. What was that like?
Yeah, it was hard. I applied to both academies very early before the end of 2022, and heard back from the Coast Guard around Christmas time. And I guess when I first heard back, I heard back from them first, and I instantly just told myself like, I'm not going to get into the Naval Academy. I have the Coast Guard already, so I'm just going to go there. And then 3 months later, March time comes around, hear back from the Naval Academy, and it's like, wow, I just got my 2 dream schools right in front of me, and I have 2 months to choose where I want to go. And I want to thank my dad for definitely helping me get through this decision, because
Dad, by the way, is off there, but off camera. But he wants to give the spotlight to you, because this was your decision. You are becoming a man, and ultimately you will serve the country. So that's amazing. But shout out to Dad.
Yeah, love my dad. But he told me just because that the Naval Academy is more prestigious, he told me that I should choose what I want to do in life, and ultimately figured out that saving lives in the Coast Guard, stopping drugs from entering the country and the island is definitely more important to me.
And there's a very good chance you could be stationed here back home.
Yes,
and,
yes.
That's great. Now that you're back home, what sense of where you're from and the upbringing that you have and the heritage that you carry with you and everything? What is it like to be back home and to feel that again? And how does that get you through what for a lot of people going through their freshman year of college can be a very tough time? It can be lonely for a lot of people.
Definitely. During the summer, I wasn't allowed to have any communication with my parents, or through like technology. It had been maybe 5 weeks with trying to communicate through snail mail. And, you know, it takes a week and a half to send mail from Connecticut to Guam, and then another week and a half to send it back. So it was very hard being 10,000 miles away from home and barely hearing from them.
Well, you're going to be in the Coast Guard one day. You better brush up on your Morse code, too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but definitely coming back, it feels amazing coming back, seeing my family again, and just being home. Definitely helps my definitely helps me like grow as a person, because coming back home reminds me that, you know, there's more to life than just school and the military. You have a family, you have the island of Guam that gosh.
You're 6'7" all the way, man.
6'7", yeah.
You can never take that away from you.
Yeah, it's always in my heart, always tomorrow at heart, you know.
There you go.
And
I got to tell you, man, from the civilian standpoint, you're only halfway through your freshman year. You've got the leadership already of an upperclassman, man. It has been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Welcome home, and we wish you a safe journey back to school.
Thank you. It's good to be home.
Yeah. And, you know, I'm so much older than you are and everything, but I am really, really honored to have young people like you ultimately watching our back and serving our country. You know, someday as a military officer, you're going to make a
I really appreciate it.
Now for a look at your world at home. Here's a view captured of the drone light show in Tumon on New Year's Day.
Honey, do you want some milk?
Do you ever wonder how your favorite products make their way into your local stores? Most arrive on state-of-the-art Matson vessels that transport containers of food, household items, equipment, and supplies into the islands every week. Because we know that you depend on us, we work closely with our partners to ensure that our shipments arrive on time, all the time, so you can find your favorite products when you need them. We transport the region's most precious cargo that supports successful businesses and promotes a better quality of life for our families. Matson is proud to have been the hometown shipping carrier for Guam, the CNMI, and Micronesia for the past 25 years, and you can count on us to be here for generations to come.
Are you ready to drive into the future? Introducing the all-new BMW i Family, Guam's only all-electric luxury vehicle. Be a part of the electrifying future with the all-new BMW i Family. Now available at Atkins Kroll.
For the first time in 30 years, Coors Light has an ad in the big game.
Actually, this is a Miller Lite commercial.
Mountain Cold Refreshment.
It's Miller time. Great taste, less filling.
Cold as the Rockies.
Coors commercial, Miller commercial.
Actually, it's a Blue Moon commercial.
Day Guam, I'm Captain Cheryl Padilla.
And I'm First Sergeant Mono Reguli with Alpha Company 1st 294 Infantry Regiment, currently serving in the CENTCOM AOR.
We want to let you know that your soldiers are doing an outstanding job with the mission. pretty sure they're missing home during the holiday seasons. But with your prayers, your love, your support, they're allowed to focus on the mission at hand.
They continue to represent the island well with the holiday spirit and with respect and dignity.
On behalf of the command team, we'd like to wish you all a
Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.
Viva Zuzu!
Viva Guahan!
These special season's greetings from our troops are brought to you locally by KUAM Communications, bringing families together.
There it is. My dad went EV.
It's electric. Don't be shocked.
The guy who's eternally locked out of his email is going EV. Ooh, nice car.
Actually, it's an EV. Rhymes with Kev. Look, EVIP parking.
I get it. You think they don't charge fast enough or go far enough.
Up to 80% charge in 18 minutes. Range? Heck, we could go to Mexico.
Are you Kevin Bacon?
But EVs aren't going to stop being a thing. Look at the Ioniq 6.
Maca mushroom frap for Kevin.
So just make the leap already.
Okay, watch this. Blue or red? Blue light, red light. I can also make it play nature sounds if you want.
Let's just drive.
Introducing the all-electric Hyundai Ioniq 6 with up to 360-mile range. When it comes to EVs, we're thinking of every mile.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist. Over 20 years of experience.
Zoom! Tis the season for speed, and Docomo Pacific is putting prepaid customers in the fast lane. Starting November 3rd, 2023 to January 31st, 2024, every $5 prepaid card purchase from a participating store gives Docomo Pacific customers a chance to win a brand new Mazda 3. So load up at participating stores and drop off your entry to any Docomo Pacific retail store. Docomo Pacific, better together. Some conditions apply. Visit DocomoPacific.com for details.
Tonight is now chicken night?
Oh, yes, it's chicken night. Kentucky Fried Chicken night. Oh, yes, it's chicken night. Oh, what a night. Oh, what a night.
Make it a chicken night with KFC's $25 fill-up box.
It's gonna make it good.
Today, my name is Specialist Pilot. I just want to say I love you to my families and friends back home in Guam, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Viva Guam!
Alpha Day, my name is Sergeant Saliva from Alpha Company 1st 294 Infantry Regiment. I just wishing my family, friends a happy holiday, and I'll be back home soon. Hooah!
Alpha Day, MD, Sergeant Camacho from Alpha Company 1st Platoon. I just want to wish a safe and happy holidays to my family and friends.
These special season's greetings from our troops are brought to you locally by KUAM Communications, bringing families together.
There's less than a week for you to bring your family down to Central Guam and check out the Christmas LED display over in beautiful Sinania, the Central Village, the community there. They've done an amazing job, and it's only until January 7th. So get down there 6 to 9 p.m. at the multi-purpose gym. Stop by and make some amazing memories. Also, very, very social media friendly. The selfies are like just off the charts. All right, we've been telling you about the JFK Junior Classes 2K, 5K fun run. Make sure to check it out because, of course, it's at JFK because they got a beautiful campus. We built it several years ago, and it absolutely wonderful for sporting events, and we want you to participate because running around there is going to be awesome. So make sure to register, and we will see you there. Green and gold all the way. And that's me saying that, and I'm from Sanchez, but shout out to the Islanders. And it is your last chance, if you are in the CNMI, to see the Christmas lights. Sunday on the 7th, also the same day that the Sinahana display is ending, over at Sugar King Park from 5 to 9 p.m. That is what's happening on News Bites.
It's birthday wishes time. Here's your Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club shout out submitted on KUAM.com.
Okay, everybody, happy midweek birthday to Sandra Nicole Lavinia. And your shout out, Sandra says, happy birthday to my best friend. Cheers to 11 years of laughing, crying, and memes. Here's to many more birthday celebrations with you. Rena Patton, happy 5-0 birthday to Rena. Hey, Rena's a friend of our show here. Happy birthday, Rena. An honorary Guam girl, and your friends and fam on Guam, this little tiny island, 30 miles long by 7 miles wide. All of us are wishing you and loving you and wishing you a very, very special day. Joy Rivera Woodward, another friend of the show. Happy birthday to you, Joy, and we hope you had a beautiful and fantastic Wednesday. Tori Guerrero, continue to wear that radiant smile, reach for the stars, and may the Lord above shower his blessings and protection upon you always. We're wishing our princess a happy 16th birthday. Victoria, we love you forever. Hey, happy birthday to Tori. And the one and only Kevin Delgado, happy belated birthday to the Vice Mayor of Manila. Hey, happy birthday, Vice. Another friend of the man. We got all friends of the show on today's shoutouts. We hope you had a great birthday. Love all your family, all your friends, everybody in Manila, and especially your favorite goddaughter, KUAM's own Joan Ugancharfers, who we're all big fans of the Vice here. So we hope everybody who had a birthday today, especially these 5 amazing Guamanians, have an absolutely wonderful day.
Happy birthday to my cousin there, and to all of you celebrating out there today. That's your primetime show. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Nick Delgado. Stay safe and good night.